We live. I'm gonna go ahead and tap off of here because I cannot pay attention to both at the same time. And we live. So one more time before I let my IG people go, because we're live on YouTube right now. If you're on here, hit end, hop on the YouTube app, search my name, Mixed Feelings, episode 3, tap in. Shout out Columbia as well. I see you, John Nader. Love you, bro. But I'm off IG. Let's get this cracking. Okay. All right, man. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. We are live. September 25th is the day. 9:06 is the time. So I guess first things first. Welcome. If this is your second or third time, considering we're on the third episode, welcome back. If it's your first time, welcome. I got a very near and dear friend of mine, Mr. Victor Jimenez. Very close, my right hand guy in all of this stuff that we got going on, just in terms of the music, in terms of the marketing, in terms of just staying on track with the vision. So
life advice.
Yes, life advice, love advice. Yeah, just all of those things. Just the good Jiminy cricket on my shoulder. You know what I mean? But yeah, super glad he could make it out. Yeah, man, I'm feeling good. So we gotta, just to kind of fill y'all in a little bit, not to bore you too much, but we had a little bit of audio issues last week. I am hoping we don't got the same stuff going on this week, but we got a new software, a little bit different of a setup, different lighting, camera looks a little bit different. So I feel like it's just constant like upgrades, just constantly trying to make it better. I feel like that's the dopest thing about it being like a weekly thing is, we don't got to get it right on the first try. It would have been awesome, but I didn't expect that. I know Vic didn't expect that. I hope you guys didn't expect that, but just constantly getting it right. So I got a couple little notes. So the first thing that I wanted to say before we, get deep into it, number one is if you clicked off of Instagram and you clicked the link, I would suggest closing that out and opening up the app, the YouTube app. It's just a lot easier to navigate. You're not limited to anything, so it's a lot easier to navigate. Number one, open up the YouTube app. Number two, the chat. I had a couple people hit me, just asking me about the chat last week, and like, well, you keep mentioning the chat. What's the chat? Blah blah blah. So the chat is, you can't see the chat if you're going off of the Safari link. So if you're going off of IG, you're not gonna see that the chat. But it's a couple people in here now. I'm gonna go ahead and we live. I'm gonna go ahead and tap in for y'all one time. But yeah, so the chat won't pop up unless you're on the app. So couple little things. I'm trying to think, did I have anything else? So using the YouTube app, the chat, last thing, so I'm thinking about doing this, and maybe y'all could let me know how y'all feel about it, but I got everything set up to start taking calls on these lives, which I thought would be dope. I don't know, it could go perfectly well, it could go south, I don't know how it'll go, but everything is set up to do it. I'm kind of on the fence about it, so we'll see how things go. But if that is something that y'all would be up for, holla at your koala, Jack. Holla at your koala. DoorDash. So first things first. Once again, got my boy Vic here with me. We're gonna go ahead and get this cracking. We did bring another special guest as well. He goes by the name of George Clooney. let's go ahead and get this in frame real quick. Hopefully that's in focus for y'all. So, I know Vic's got to make a nice little trip back to Long Beach, so I'm not gonna pressure him too much. But I would love if he would
drink responsibly.
Drink responsibly. Me and Clooney are asking that you drink responsibly. Just one tiny little drink, if you don't mind, kind sir. Hit me one of those glasses. Thank you, sir. Go ahead and pour this up before we go any further. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually pretty excited because
that's yours, right? Yeah, that's
yours. Yeah. Okay. You just tell me when.
I just good.
Okay.
All
right. There we go.
I usually don't
he drank way more than this off camera, so he's lit right now.
Boy's lit.
Yeah, man. Cheers, my friend.
Cheers.
Thank you for coming.
Yes, absolutely. Episode 3.
Love you dearly. Marvelous. All right. So, I just want to kind of let y'all know in terms of like the flow of this episode. Obviously, we may go off track. We may come back on track, but it's a couple things that I definitely want to like get knocked out this go around. So number one, I got a bunch of good questions from you guys for the Q&A this week. We're going to be doing that every week. Obviously the chat is open. So if y'all, if you have any questions as we're going, throw them in there. We'll answer, before the end of the stream for sure. If we see it live, answer it right then. So get the Q&A going. And after that, I want to get into breaking down Aaliyah's Interlude, talking about that a little bit, just the background.
Yeah. Horns.
Yep. Just kind of how the track came about. Just some background on it. Talk about the artwork, everything that goes along with the track. I got a special version of it that I haven't played or put out at all that I'd like to play for you guys on live. And then just as we go, whatever comes up in the meantime, we'll do that. So first things first, I want to get going with this Q&A. Like I said, as we're going, the chat is open. I'm in the chat. I'm literally looking at the chat right now. So if y'all got anything that you want to throw in, any questions, any comments, throw them in. It's dope to see that. It's dope to interact with you guys live. And that's why I say, if you are on Safari, jump off Safari, jump onto the YouTube app.
It's 2020, you guys.
It's 2020. Step your game up. If you're using Safari, if you're jumping off of major apps, from Instagram, we got to talk. Simple as that. We got to talk. So, if you are on right now, I'm not offended. Go ahead and jump on the YouTube app. You can search me by name, pull it up that way, and let's get it going. So first things first, and I know y'all could see this right here. I got this, this window that's literally irrelevant to everything that we have, going on. But let's go ahead and get this cracking. So, where we at? Switch it up on them. Hello. Am I in focus? I'm in focus. Yes, sir. Vic is with me. Yes, sir. Okay. So, like I said before, a bunch of dope questions in the Q&A. I'm gonna be running this every week. Like I said before, I feel like that's like the dopest part about all this, is that it's not, if it was a one-time thing, I feel like I'd have so much more like vested interest in it, and not that I don't care, but just in terms of worrying so much, it's like I just want to have fun. I just want to hang with my people, talk to my people, interact, play some play some music, break down some of these songs, and just go about it that way, man. So for everybody who's, sticking around for the streams, for everybody who this isn't their first time, or even if it is their first stream and they're tapping in, much love, very much love. I appreciate it sincerely. And we'll get it right. I didn't expect it to be perfect. And yeah, we're just gonna go about it like that. So first things first, let's get into some of these Q&As. The one thing that I maybe didn't mention is all of these are coming from Instagram. So if you're following me on Instagram, usually like early in the week, I'll probably post this like Monday or Tuesday. And then again, like throughout the week. But in terms of the Q&A and getting questions from you guys, I'll post it there on my story. And then if you guys have any questions, just drop them in there. I'm not posting anybody's name. I white out everybody's name. I white out their photo. So it's anonymous. Ask whatever you want, any topics that you want, so on and so forth. So I feel like I'm rambling at this point. I'm off the I'm off that Clooney juice. But yeah, man, let's go ahead and get into it. So first question, where we at? Okay. A little generic, but we'll do it. So, any advice for an upcoming artist? Number one, and I've seen these questions before, so I've thought about them a little bit. Number one, I just wanted to say, like, I'm a upcoming artist, so it's not, don't get it twisted. I can't really give you, I won't call it advice. I'll more classify it as input and like things that I feel like, have worked and like are working for myself and like us in the situation that we're in at this point. Number one, bigger than anything, I feel like, and Vic, obviously, whatever input you got, I would say one of the biggest things, to be honest, man, is like understanding your goal within music before you get going. So before you jump into the mix and you're worried about this, you're worried about this placement, that placement, you're worried about these numbers, those numbers, I'd say is to just understand like what your goal is, because what I feel like a lot of people don't realize is like it's a million different ways to be a artist, in this day and age. It's like, what works for one person may not work, but if you don't have your path like mapped out for you, beforehand, any little thing could pull you off of that path. Somebody gives you a kind of like this, right? It's like, I have more than just that, but if somebody gives you the wrong advice and you don't know where you're at or what you're trying to do within music, it's easily just gonna throw you off track. So I'd say number one, would for sure be to just know what your goal is. Like, what does it look like? So when you think about you being a successful artist, what does that look like? What do you want out of this game that you just jumped into? I'd say that for sure. I'd say work with people that you enjoy. I think you always hear the phrase like, don't mix business with pleasure, you know what I mean? But I feel like that statement is like, it's misconstrued. It's like, it's not necessarily don't mix business with pleasure. I feel like the bigger, more important message is don't put pleasure over business. You know what I mean? You definitely don't want to be working with people that you don't enjoy being around. You could be with your friends, you could be with your partner, you can be with, whoever it is and be working in that capacity within business and make it work. But you start, placing yourself around people that you don't enjoy. It just makes it that much more difficult. So you may go through, Clooney break. You may go through little periods where it's like, it gets lonely, I'll say that for sure. I know I've experienced that, but I think, I think in terms of just what matters most, it's like you'll get there. You know what I mean? You'll figure it out. You'll go through those little periods of time, but the most important thing is just making sure that or one of the most important things is just making sure you're staying around people that you enjoy being around. those are my biggest things.
Yeah.
You know, those like that I think of off the top of my head. In terms of being asked that, like, what's the most important? Any advice, for an upcoming artist? Anything you want to throw in the mix?
Just take risks. Take risks. Write down your goals.
Mm-hmm.
I think the main thing you said is just surround yourself with people that have the same vision.
Yep.
Just keep positive. I think just see yourself as a product. Honestly, just see how you can expand yourself as a product and as a brand. What's your image? What's your sound? What's your goal for that? What markets are you going for? Those are kind of main things as up and coming artists.
Yeah.
Instead of just recording a song and just putting it out there.
Yeah.
Which you could do. I mean, you always want to approach every song like that. You want to just record it and just put it out there for the world to hear. But you have to really strategize and prioritize. How you want to approach each release. Each product. Etc.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are the technical side of things.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
with this question, this it could go.
I mean, you could go forever on something like this, but I think you made a good point. Like, understanding like you're now a product / brand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when you're jumping into the game, and it doesn't have to be music. This could be with a lot of different professions, but like music specifically, just like understanding like, okay, I'm a brand now. So what goes along with that? Looking at look at other big brands. It doesn't have to be artists. Look at other big brands. How do they go about doing things? You look and you see, when they present their content, it's all, cohesive to a certain extent. They understand who their market is. They understand, who their target audience is. Just things like that. Just understanding that, obviously staying focused and staying locked in, with what you're doing. But yeah, I mean, I think, if any, I'm gonna keep that in the back of my head. Yeah. But if anything, pops up, but I feel like those are the biggest things.
Yeah. I'll say this. I'll end it on my part on this is just treat it like a lemonade stand. I've used this analogy.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is if you have a lemonade stand in your neighborhood, the only people that are going to purchase that lemonade are your friends and neighbors. So you have to really think outside of that, honestly, as just like your focal group. If you just release a song and you post it just for your Instagram friends, that's kind of the only traction you're gonna get. So you have to kind of think bigger. Think outside of the lemonade stand. Think outside of like the neighborhood that you're, pushing your music to. But I mean, if that's like your repertoire and you want to just release music just locally, then that's cool. But our thing was always to think on a larger scale. So.
For sure. And I mean, shit, like I said in the very beginning, it's like I'm an up and coming artist. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm still in the mix of this right now. So a lot of what I'm saying, and I know for sure a lot of what Vic's saying is like applicable to what we're talking about and what we're in the mix of right now, but it's universal. It's like all of these same concepts apply. We're not giving you anything that's too brand specific to what it is that we're doing. So yeah, we'll end it on that. Like I said before, if I think of anything else as time goes on, we'll throw that out there. So real quick, question came in on the on the chat. CD Supreme, was Aaliyah's Interlude more of a personal song, or was it something you wanted to go for conceptually? For sure, I would say conceptually. After the Q&A, obviously I want to get into that song specifically. Yeah, for sure, stay tuned. So if you're on here, stay tapped in. Appreciate y'all. I always, even like to this day, like I have a weird relationship with that song, and I don't feel like I like talk about it a lot, but It's one of those things where it's like it was so spur of the moment, but that the way that that concept came together to just tie in, these different Aaliyah tracks and make it like a montage type thing. Um, that's more where like my head was at with it. It wasn't so much of like a personal track, because at the end of the day, lyric wise, like this is Aaliyah, and then this is my like rendition or like interpretation on it. So I love the track. Like, I don't have any like ill feelings towards the track itself. It's just it's kind of like bittersweet in a sense,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, when it's like, you're tying together these different tracks, you're putting your own like twist on it, and it's getting like Aaliyah's Interlude is my most played track by far, like
Yeah.
literally, but like exponentially, by far. It's at like, I think 350,000 on Spotify, like a few, in the tens of thousands on YouTube, and I appreciate it, obviously, but I always want to make that clear that I understand what it is. I'm not looking to pass anything off as specifically mine. That's my rendition. That's why it's Aaliyah's Interlude. It was a concept. So that was actually a good question, because I feel like I was planning on going into that, but just to give a little like
Yeah.
prelude,
Little preview of the breakdown.
yeah, but beforehand. So CD Supreme, appreciate you.
Stay tuned.
Yes, stay tuned, because we'll pull up the session, pull up any artwork and things like that we got, and just kind of talk about like the back end of the track, how it came about, how it got to where it's at now, so on and so forth. So yeah. Okay, so question 1. What do we got? Question 2. New music soon. Of course, 100%. I'll say bigger than that before I like get into the music is just the ventures and everything that's kind of going on the back end. I feel like for everybody watching this, everybody out there, like, what it is. The last like few months have been super just tricky. You know what I mean? Super tricky. So, I definitely went through a period of time where I was just down, man. Like I was, I told Vic, it was like, man, I hadn't, obviously, like I've opened it up recently, but like, I was telling him, I'm like, man, I haven't even opened up Pro Tools in like months, it feels like, you know what I mean. So it's a lot of that. I've been writing a lot. I feel like I'm more like inspired than ever. I've been recording, trying to just get these ideas out, but a lot of it is just kind of pivoting and just figuring out like, okay, with everything going on, like what am I gonna do, you know what I mean, like how am I gonna stay afloat, with everything going on. So to answer the question, for sure, yes, new music very soon.
Many more things.
Yes,
That are all gonna connect.
yes, everything will connect. The Orange Division stuff, we'll get into that in a little bit. The visuals, I've been like really heavy on that lately, which has been like, I feel like a breath of new life and like inspiration for me to like tie back into the music. So that's been dope as well. But yeah, new music very soon, very soon. The very first episode of Mixed Feelings, I played a track that I did with my brother Life, Reposado. That may be the one. Shit, still, this is why I'm glad I got Vic here, because this is like my guy in terms of like when new stuff comes into the mix. It's like, okay, like, how do we want to do this?
Yeah,
How do we want to break this down? How do we want to tie all these things in together? So that may be the one. We got a couple more like in the bag, obviously. But yes, to answer your question simply, yes, new music coming soon, very soon. New ventures coming soon. Yeah, leave it at that. Keep it locked. Keep it locked. Okay, I'm gonna try and let me shrink I just want to make sure if any of y'all are commenting on YouTube in the chat, I could pop in there. Let's see. We got Pro Tools or Logic. I mean, I'm Team Pro Tools, obviously. This is like a technical, like like a engineer question. I mean, I don't know. Like from what I understand, and I'm not gonna harp on this forever because the average person, I feel like, does not care about this. But I will say, um, Logic is like a upgraded, updated version of GarageBand.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is like that. Those are my like early days. Like I started on GarageBand. Nikhil, I see you in the chat. What's up, bro? So I've been working with Pro Tools for like 10 plus years.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those things for me. It's like riding a bike. Even when I told Vic, I was like, I haven't been on Pro Tools for a minute. I wasn't concerned like I'm going to hop on there and not know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? It was just like, you just got to grease the gears. Yeah. Yeah. Get back into it. So yeah, to answer your question, Pro Tools for me. But
you got a Mac? I mean, Logic's on Mac, right?
no, it's not for free. GarageBand is on Mac.
Oh wow. Well, I mean, hey, we all started on GarageBand.
100%. And what I will say too, I didn't even think of this at first. And this kind of goes back to like advice for upcoming artists. Use what you got.
Yeah.
So if you have Logic or you have GarageBand or whatever, like it's not the gear, man. Like it literally
it's
is.
All about the progress.
It's all about the progress, and you'll get to that point. A lot of things in life you gotta earn. You know what I mean? Like you may have to earn Pro Tools. You may have to earn a better mic. You may have to earn a better camera. You may have to earn these things. Start with what you got. Prove it to yourself first and foremost, and then to the people that like you deserve that. But you can make anything happen. I've seen even Los.
Yeah.
Los uses Reason. And I know like for the technical people, like, y'all don't know what I'm talking about, but Reason is like, that's a whole different ball game in terms of like making beats, but Los makes it work.
Yeah. Use what you got.
What you got.
I know. What's his name? Like Solange used her phone to record her last album.
Steve Lacy.
Steve Lacy uses
Steve
that
Lacy.
phone.
Yeah, he used.
Ninth Wonder uses what's it called? The iPad. MPC. I mean, just use what you got.
Use what you got. Use what you got.
Get
so
creative.
100%. So me personally, Pro Tools. But don't let that discourage you from owning Logic or using Logic or any other program. That's just me. I've spent extensive time. I've spent extensive time with Pro Tools. Therefore, that's where I'm at with it. Let's see what else we got. When the shirts drop in, soon, man, soon. So we're working on that. When I said, new ventures, that's something. I don't know if y'all have seen. If you haven't checked it out and you're watching this right now, don't leave. But after this or whenever you get a chance, I got a video on my YouTube channel called 424 that kind of like gives a little sneak preview of the shirts. We got a lot of content for that. I don't want to dig too deep into it like right this very second, but I will say, man, like this is something that we've been working on for a long time. It's been a lot of like hurdles that have been thrown our way. But it's coming. It's coming, and I'm excited about it. I'm proud to be a part of it.
With everything surrounding it too.
Yeah, for sure. So just getting the last minute content together and making sure like all the functionality everywhere is good. But yeah, they're coming like ASAP. So stay tuned for that. I'm for sure gonna try and figure out some type of way to tie that in with the music, obviously, but with the YouTube and with all of that. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, so one word answer: soon. Let's get it. All right. What else we got? Where do you get your inspiration from when writing? That's a good question. I mean, the simplest way that I could put it is living. Like, I know it sounds like overly simplified, but I feel like it's something that you got to keep in mind especially with everything that's been going on. It's like I feel like there's such a big push right now to, oh, did you lose your job right now? Everybody could be an entrepreneur. You could do it. You could do it. You could do it. And it's like pushing people in this direction to like falsify inspiration. And it's like inspiration's not going to come, from anything other than just living and you identifying like what are the things that actually inspire you. If you don't know what inspires you, then you know, it's like creativity. It's like I got asked this I think last week or something like in this same vein, but it's like you can't make artificial inspiration. So for me, like when I'm writing, if I'm not living, if I'm not experiencing like the full spectrum of emotions, I'm not inspired. And for a good period of time, I wasn't inspired. Yeah, I didn't feel like writing. I didn't feel like recording. Like I told Vic, I'm like, man, it's been so long since I even opened up Pro Tools. And it's like it's a constant like pull back and forth because all you ever see when you open up social media is like, oh, if during quarantine you haven't developed a new hustle to do this, or yeah, it's like, man, like, yeah, like this shit is not for everybody, man. Like this game is not for everybody, and creativity and inspiration doesn't come like that. Like that, it's simple as that. It's not the way that things work. So, I feel like I know the question was where do I get the inspiration from, but just to kind of throw that in there, like just live, man. Like live. Enjoy your people. Enjoy your family and enjoy the experiences that are out there for you. Go live. You know what I mean? Instead of sitting in front of a microphone and trying to come up with dope ideas. It's like, man, like you'll know because what will happen is you'll be out somewhere and it'll randomly just be like, man, like I got an idea for a track right now. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like for me, my biggest thing is the car, and I've told Vic this before. Like probably 90% of the shit that I have written and recorded, like it started in my car. Like it's a result of like experiences and then me having that like quiet, like monotonous time where like thoughts are flowing, and then that's where I get the initial idea. I'll voice note it from there and then go into to recording a track at that point. So you got to find what inspires you, obviously. But yeah, I'd say, like I said in the very beginning, I think the biggest thing is just live, man. Just live. Worry about the creativity and the inspiration afterwards. But for now, just live. Any
I don't know. Just make it therapeutic. Also, anything that's positive. Any inspiration that's positive. Write it down. Anything that's,
or negative.
Yeah, I was gonna say, anything that's negative, honestly. And anything that makes you in a vulnerable state, write it down. And also like with writing, it doesn't have to be full on lyrics. We've talked about that. It can just be ideas and concepts, and just
could be little melodies, little riffs.
Yeah, melodies, just things on your mind. And you never know, that thing you write down, that's like an idea or an insecurity, that can be a song 5 months from now or a year from now. So just always write things down. I always tell them
write things down, or
voice memos.
Voice memos. I'm sure obviously if you got an iPhone, you know what a voice memo is. But like for me, with what I'm doing, voice memos are so key, man. Like I'm in the hundreds at this point in terms of voice memos. Like no lie, like I feel like it's such an easy way to capture it right then, especially I'd say if you're like into singing and like melodies and stuff like that. A huge issue that I was running into for a minute was like I would write something down maybe, but then when I would go back I wouldn't be able to catch that same like feeling or that same melody, that same harmony. So voice notes, man, like use voice notes, and then you could write it from there obviously, but like I feel like for me personally, that's the quickest way to like get that idea out there. You know what I mean? Or give yourself a reminder, or hey, I need to go back. Like I got this idea for this. I got this inspiration from here. So there's things like that. Yeah. Gucci. Yeah. Gucci gang. All right. I'm loving these questions though, man. Let's get it. What's the hardest part of being an independent artist? The hardest part of being an independent artist.
I think I'll start for this.
Go ahead. Take the lead. Jesus, take the wheel.
Take the wheel. That's been a big discussion right now. I don't know if you guys are on Twitter, but like, whole like Kanye West and getting, his masters and being signed artists and stuff. I mean, the flip side of being a signed artist and stuff like that is not having, the freedom of an independent artist, but you have all the resources. But being an independent artist, you have all the freedom to do whatever you want.
Minimal resources.
So it's finding it's finding that balance, honestly. And I guess the hardest part of being an independent artist is just resources, which is time, money, and etc. But that's makes it worth it, though. That makes the grind. It makes the actual product itself better. Is having, these limited resources almost. You kind of put yourself in a position where like you have to make
back against the wall,
and just make what you have. From the songs that Miles has made from the beginning to now. It's with limited resources, honestly.
Yeah, so. For sure. I mean, I think just to kind of piggyback off that, like, using what you got and understanding, like, I think the big thing, and I was talking about this recently, is like learning to speak the language, right? I feel like that's something not necessarily that's the hardest part, but I think it's something that's important to keep in mind being like an independent or unsigned or like lower tier artist, is learning how to speak the language. So what I mean by that is, for me, for instance, and I talked about this a little bit last week, is like I'm not a visual artist. I'm not a graphic designer. Like that's not like my passion, but I found myself in a position where I had to do those things for myself because I didn't have any money and I didn't have any resources. So, if I needed like a video or some type of visual promotion or something to like post on my story, it was like, okay, do I have $100 or $150 to just go pay somebody for one post? Yeah. When I know in my heart, like I got to keep up with this. Like this has to be something that's consistent. So I obviously like pivoted and adapted to a certain extent to be able to learn how to do it, but it's not with the intent to become a graphic designer. Exactly. My thing is I learned the language. So now, as you like progress on, and if it becomes like, let's say we run into somebody next week and they're like, man, huge fan of your work. I'm a graphic designer. I'd love to get in the mix, or I'm a videographer, or this, that, or the third. It's like, I can speak that language to them. So I'm not just like, oh, I want a video that looks like this. And like, can you put this picture kind of behind this one? You know what I mean? Like you could speak the language. So I would say like, it doesn't directly answer the question in terms of like what's the hardest part, but something to keep in mind is you learning that language, like learning the language of these certain little elements, because you're not going to have all the resources off the bat. You're going to have to learn how to pivot and figure these things out on your own. I mean, I'd say, just to kind of answer that, the hardest part would be kind of what you said in the beginning, and which is not having resources. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you don't, the difference.
It's
and
not really the hardest part, is just like the obvious part. Being
True.
independent artists and stuff. But,
True. I think, and once again, like I'm on that. I'm on that road, on that trajectory at this point. So I'm not speaking, to you guys from a perspective of like, oh, I'm at the top. This is what I had to go through to get to this point. I'm just saying in terms of everything that we're talking about, like not having those resources becomes difficult. But if you're just being resourceful on your own end, and self-sufficient or team sufficient, if you got the right group of people around you and you guys are figuring out how to make these certain things happen, learn the language, you could break through that barrier of not having the resources and not having the money. Because the very biggest thing, and I know you mentioned like Kanye and bro, I downloaded that like he posted every page of his contract. Like I literally screenshotted every one. I haven't read through all of it, but I had a feeling, and maybe it's still up there. But
what you said too, like familiarize yourself with the terminology on the creative side. You know, you're talking to videographers and stuff, but also on the business side too. You know, a lot of artists get tripped up on these contracts and stuff.
For sure.
You know, so you gotta be
learn
smart.
that language. That's another language to learn. You know.
So yeah, we gotta, we're abiding by Nipsey. You know.
Man.
Following those footsteps.
R.I.P. Nip, man. R.I.P. Nip, man. Yeah. Quick side note. I won't even harp on this so long, but I will. Like you already know with me. Like, man, I miss having new Nip content to watch. That was one of those people where it's like, man, like this is somebody to model after. Yeah. You know what I mean? This is somebody who knows what it is. So yeah, man. I mean, back to the question. I hope we didn't go astray for too long. But I would say hardest part about being an independent artist is just it's the resources. But on the technical side. But you could figure that out, man. You could piece that together on your own.
The struggle's fun.
Yeah, exactly. The struggle is fun, man. Like, and it's even more fun when you look back on it. It may not be fun in the mix, you know what I mean? Like when you're really in the midst of it, but when you look back on it, you'll appreciate it for sure. For sure. What does CD say? Nipsey's death certainly left a huge void in music. Man,
it left a big void in music, but man,
it left a void in the culture, bro.
But it made people smart though too, because people started to dig in more into what he was, not just music wise, but as a businessman and stuff, and that smartened a lot of people up. It really smartened people up, and it's funny because leading up to his death, we talked about him like months leading up to that about what he was doing, and it's before and after we still model that, And a lot of artists are doing that now too. A lot of artists are speaking loud about being independent and my masters and my creative freedom and stuff.
There'll never be another Nip.
Nah.
Literally there'll never be, and that's what I think like hit me. Like I never met Nipsey in my life, you know what I mean? But I was literally like in tears. Like I was upset, you know what I mean? It was like I felt like
that just getting started,
bro. I mean,
as an independent artist,
bro, just getting started, and like just knowing like what he stood for. It just sucked. It still sucks. You know what I mean? It still sucks. But yeah, I hope we answered that question. In depth enough. R.I.P. Nip. Of course.
The true independent artist.
Yeah, the truest of the true. Let's get into this next one. Let's see what we got. Can you peep my track and mix maybe? I mean, shit. Yeah, I guess. Like, shoot it. I think my email is still on my IG. If not, just hit me. I obviously like maybe now's not like the best of times. I feel like we're like smack dab in the midst of what we're trying to get rolling and whatnot. But I actually have thought about that a little bit, and like I think that would be dope to kind of share with the audience in terms of like just mixing other people's tracks in addition to my own. I only got so many songs. I don't got a greatest hits worth of material, but yeah, man. I mean, shoot it. My email should be on my IG. If it's not, hit me. If nothing else, I'll
trial and error on your own stuff.
Trial and error on your own stuff, and if nothing else, I'd be happy to peep the mix. You know what I mean, and let you know if I don't got time to mix it on my own. I'll definitely give you my input. Yeah, let's see what else we got. How do I get my song on Spotify? Man, you just gotta call Spotify. And just 1-800 Spotify. Nah, you just need distribution for that to get your song on Spotify and like Apple Music and iTunes and all that. Me and Vic talked about this because we kind of went through like the ringer, like with these distribution companies of like it being, man, like, one company does this and does that. One thing that I'll say, kind of going back to the struggles as like an independent artist, is you're gonna deal with different interactions with companies that you wouldn't deal with had you been signed. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna hit you with certain things. They're gonna treat you a certain type of way, and you just gotta muscle through it. And I think one thing that I'll say about that, and then I'll get back to the Spotify thing specifically, is that's why it's so important to like just build your core. You know what I mean? Focus on your core. Like you guys, everybody who's watching this, like I know you may hear it and be like, yeah, I'm sure you fucking do, but like I appreciate it. You know what I mean? Like y'all are the people that are tapping in, that are commenting, that are listening to the songs, and it's like the reality is when you have that, like what else do you need? If you're making music to share it with people and you have direct access to the people, none of that other stuff matters. Like your audience is right there. You guys are right here with me right now, or later on down the line, watching this. But yeah, just a quick little side note.
It's very easy to do, but just know where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
Just choose your avenue carefully.
And what I would say, do some research on distribution companies, what they do, what different companies offer different features. Like you got DistroKid, you got TuneCore, you got Amuse, you got what's Steve Stout shit?
Steve, United Masters.
United Masters. You got AWOL. You got Epic. You got all these different companies, right? Just research, what it is that they are offering, what the process looks like, and figure out, what works best for you, and go about it that way. Real quick in the comments, Crystal, not yet, but you will have a great hit for sure. For sure, that's why we're on this road. We'll get a greatest hits. We'll get a nice little
farewell tour.
Yeah, farewell tour, exactly. VMA or VH1 behind the music, all of that.
Vegas residency.
Yeah, exactly. Be right there with Britney Spears and Jennifer Lopez, Celine Dion. Yeah. But yeah, man, just circling back around to the Spotify thing. Distribution, that's all that you need. It sounds more complicated than it is, but it's literally just looking into these companies, figuring out what they do and what you need out of the company, and test it out. I would like, even with us, like we've bounced around, I won't get into like specifics, but like bounce back and forth between distribution companies, because certain ones do certain things for you. Some take a percentage of your royalties, some don't, but also on the back end, some have, some will do more for you.
Some have more tools.
Some have more tools, more reach, more access. Some will do more for you.
Some are just entry level. You just upload the song, and that's it.
And so the one thing that I'll say, like right now, I'd say DistroKid is probably your best bet. I'll put a link, not right this second, but I'll put a link after this video goes to YouTube that y'all could check out. And obviously y'all could do it on your own, but I'll put a link for that. Maybe do another video down the line, something like that, talking about getting a little bit more in depth with distribution, and then go from there. But yeah. I think that's it. Anything else to add to the Spotify trivia?
No, that's pretty much it. Just it's a whole nother world. It's not SoundCloud, so
for sure a whole nother world. But it's kind of like the entrepreneurism thing. Like people make it seem more complicated than it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just in terms of like, if that's your goal,
yeah.
Like I have a song, I want to get it from here to Spotify. Yeah, it's doable. Just find your distribution and go from there.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. I think that's all we got for Q&A. That was fun. I'm sure the Casamigos made it better for me. It seemed like it just went by like that. But yeah, so next thing, we can go ahead and get cracking. What I'd like to do is go ahead and pull up some of these Aaliyah's interlude sessions and just kind of like get into the back end, start talking about the track. I feel like the story of it is interesting, you know, how it got from where it started at to now. So yeah, let's go ahead and get that pulled up. I'm hoping and praying and wishing. Let me take this question down. That we don't have any issue in terms of audio. Let's fingers crossed, Jack. But yeah, we'll go ahead and get that pulled up and get it cracking. Let's see. I hope y'all enjoyed that, man. Like for anybody who's stuck through it up until this point or tapping into the live stream right now. I love stuff like that. Yeah. I love just like whatever questions y'all got and just being able to like really sit with it and think like, oh, okay, like this is how I feel about it, or that's how I feel about it. I feel like that's probably one of my favorite things about doing, these lives is just interacting and, hopefully giving y'all some game that y'all could utilize. Let's see. So we're getting Pro Tools open right now. Let's see what we got. Okay. So what I want to do. Yes. Not yet, but it's coming. Provided. Oh shit. Hold on. I got to log into my hard drive. Let's make sure that's good to go. Provided everything opens up the right way, how we need. The first thing that I want to do is like pull up the final session of Aaliyah's interlude. So like the final Pro Tools session, just so y'all could kind of see. I know I mentioned this. Yeah, the process, the back end, the build up. I don't say it to like toot my own horn, but like everything that I've done and released and put out like into the universe, like I've sat and I've recorded it and mixed it and mastered it and everything myself. So Aaliyah's interlude is crazy because like that wasn't one of the first tracks I ever did, but in terms of like the Spotify stuff and the distribution, back to the question on the Q&A, like that was I believe the first track that I submitted to Spotify.
Yeah.
So just seeing and we'll talk a little bit about like kind of how that process went, how the song came about, some back end stuff, maybe some stuff y'all aren't really aware of. But yeah, let's get into it. Maybe I need to organize these damn files so you guys aren't lost in the mix next go around. Let's see where this is. There we go. I think this is it. Let's open this up. But yeah. Drum roll, please. So I will say, like, while I'm opening this track up, like, I for sure this wasn't in the studio. I didn't record this in the studio. This was like in my bedroom type thing. But it's just crazy, man. It's just like the process. Like we'll get into it. I won't spoil it too much, but just thinking about like how this song came about, I feel like is super dope. Let me see. CD Supreme, not to harp too much on Aaliyah's interlude, but what was your reaction to the plays on the song because it kind of blew up in a way? That's a good question, man. I'll say
it was rewarding.
It was rewarding for sure.
You put a lot of strategy.
Yes.
In that. Yes.
100%. So, let me get this open, or at least just running while waiting. And we could kind of go into that before we go into the mix for the track. Oh, I'm gonna switch this up real quick. Give me 1 second. Okay.
That song was already released.
Yes.
Before I linked with him, again, and it was funny because that was the first time I I linked with them. We linked, years back, and then we linked up again, and then Graf was linking up with you at the same time.
Yeah.
And
I've known Vic, just so y'all know, like I've known Vic since like
high school.
but like freshman year of high school. So like what, almost 15 years, like 10 plus years for sure. So 10 to 15 years. My bad, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. So we've always linked up throughout the years, and then when that song was already released, we're just going over just his songs catalog, and then we're just talking about like just different ways it'd be cool to do this and do that, and then Graf was linking with him also, and talking about like his artwork and just saying, hey, you know what, and let me lend my hand and do this. And from there we started just to strategize, like all the what ifs, like, oh, it would be cool if we did this and did that, like let's kind of get a game plan together, and kind of being new at it and very green at marketing and advertising and stuff, and finding like what works and what doesn't work. And that we put a good like month or so, and just kind of like,
we put longer than that, man.
Well,
like it took
like,
a little bit,
to strategize that, and then it was literally happened within like days. The numbers started going up. We're like, oh wow, dang, the hard work.
For sure.
Vision, it was cool to see the vision really blossom.
For sure.
Was,
For sure. I mean, I'll say on my end, just to answer your question, bro, like, so Aaliyah's Interlude was out for a minute. Like I had posted it. I think it was on YouTube. I'm pretty sure it was on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
I don't really use SoundCloud like that anymore. I'll get to that another time. But it was on like platforms, and
it was on Spotify.
No, it wasn't. Was it on Spotify?
It was,
oh yeah, you're right.
It was on Spotify, but to answer like the beginning questions about like how to upload music on Spotify, I think you just uploaded music on Spotify just to upload it,
just to have it there.
Yeah. There was no
That's
strategy.
true. That's true.
Then,
so for, not to cut you off, but for a period of time, it was up on Spotify.
Yeah.
But and I think I remember vividly, because it was December, I think, of 2018, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe, I think
yeah,
so.
I think December 2008. Like the song came out in August, right? So you got August, September, October, November, then December. That's when the song went up on Spotify. Now it didn't really start picking up until like I'd say like March, April of 2019. And that was just due to us like really like it was literally I chimed in a minute when Vic was talking, like the perfect storm during that time, because for me, I had multiple songs out during that time, and I kind of had to take a step back as an artist and be like, what am I looking to do? You know what I mean? Like, who am I? Like, what am I looking to? Not what I don't like using like what am I looking to portray? Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna always be me. But like, what do I want to offer to the world? So I really like pulled the reins back, decided on a handful of songs. I think at the time it was only Aaliyah's Interlude, Have You Seen Her, and Rain in June. I think at the time, because California Girls came out in May of 2019, and this was before all that. So pulled back, linked with Vic, linked with Los, linked with Graf. Graf helped me, really like revamp the artwork on those 3 songs specifically, and then we brought that back to the table. Me and Vic got together and just started like really strategizing on like, okay, if this is what we're starting with, if we're gonna like trim the fat off the catalog and start with just these, what can we do differently than what we've done before? And so that's why you see like the video came out. We did a video for it. The song had already been out for months. You know what I mean? Like usually when a song drops, it's like, okay, song drops, video drops either right then or before or like within a week or so. So we did new cover art, video, promo for it, like different marketing for it. So that's kind of how it got to the point where the plays started picking up. And once you kind of find yourself in the mix of that, it just goes, you know what I mean? Like once you find like that, I don't want to say like target market, but like once you find where it's really hitting at is like when the things start to pick up. So to answer your question, like what was your reaction? It was super dope. It was like it was rewarding. It was, you know, the best payoff that like you could have, because it's like, well, what else do you want? Yeah. And I'll say the last thing that I'll say in terms of that track is like it really opened my eyes to that concept. And the concept doesn't just apply to music, it applies towards product and branding in general in terms of marketing, because that song had already been out. So it had been out for 4, 5, 6 months, and it did all right, but it didn't do. We're not talking like hundreds of thousands of plays, no. Like, you know what I mean. We're talking damn near like in the hundreds, maybe like low thousands. So I feel like seeing that type of response to it opened my eyes, and I know opened Vic's eyes too, to the concept of like, okay, how can we breathe new life into things? How can we keep things refreshing? How can we adjust our marketing? How can we find like our target market? And yeah, so hopefully that answers your question. But I feel like that was a huge thing, and that track specifically, you know, really opened my eyes to that, and understanding that like, look, and I'll end it on this. I know I've been harping on this for a minute. For artists, right? I got the question earlier, like, what's the hardest part about being an independent artist, and where does your inspiration come from? This, that, and the third, right? As an artist, stop moving so quickly through your catalog. You know, if you really feel confident in your talent, and you really feel confident in what it is that you're doing, why are you moving so quick through your catalog? If you have a song that you're dropping, why do you drop that song, put a video out, and then within a week you're on to the next song? And I'm not saying it, you know, from a judgmental way. You could do what you want to do. I'm giving my personal experience, and you know, our personal experience, and my opinion on it is, let it breathe for a little bit. You know what I mean? And what I always say is like, before you move on to the next track, have you done everything that you can do to squeeze as much out of that track as possible? If you haven't, then you should stick on that song for a little bit longer, and give that song what it deserves. Because in my opinion, when I look at it from an outside and an inside perspective, if I'm moving on to the next track, it's only because I don't feel confident on, like, too quickly. It's only because I don't feel confident in that track, or, you know, I feel like, oh, I can do this differently, so let me switch it up. But it's like, man, if you're confident in what you're doing, give that track a little bit of time. Yeah. Let it breathe a little bit. So yeah, okay. Session's up. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna run this. Yeah, get down to the nitty gritty, so y'all can see, like I said before, like all of the sessions that I got. Any song that you see like out, I've sat, I've mixed, I've you know, mastered to a certain extent. This one I recorded literally in my bedroom. You know, it for sure wasn't this mic, but yeah. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to run the session, let it rock for a little bit, and then we'll go from there. Headphones on, please.
I just touched down, quarter after 2. And I know it's late, but I'm calling you, tryna figure if I can come see you. And I know you're asleep, but you're on my mind, and I'm wide awake, and I wanna stop by. So can you get up, get out of the bed, 'cause I wanna see you. And I've been wondering, can I come over? Can I come over? Come over. Can I come over? Come over. Come over. Passion, instant, sweat me, feel me, Cupid's shot me, my heart beats racing. Tell me, drive me, feel so exciting. Thought of highly, it's yours entirely. It goes on and on and on. You give me a really good feeling. All day,
All right. Oh. Let's see. All right. Yeah, man. So that's what I believe is the final mix on there. So this track, I know what did I open up last week? California Girls? All right, so California Girls was like a much different process than this song specifically. Like I feel like number one, this was me just sitting and going off what I had, and there was no real like additions to it. It was more like, okay, this is what it is, like this is what we're rocking with. And then the track came out, so there's not as much of those like little details and like additions and like going back to it and fixing it and this, that, and the third and whatnot. But I'll play, so I'm gonna solo out just like the vocals so y'all could hear a little bit of it. Let's do that. Try and get down to the real bones. Hopefully this is the vocal. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna mute the instrumental. So I'm gonna play it with everything but that.
I just touched down, quarter after 2, and I know it's late, but I'm calling you, trying to figure if I can come see you. And I know you'll sleep, but you're on my mind, and I'm wide awake.
And one thing, real quick, like this is something I kind of been like picking up on and figuring out, like, all right, what route do I want to go with these live streams and whatnot, is like the reality is like not everybody's an engineer, right? So like not everybody wants to get into the nitty gritty, the bones of like the mix and whatnot. So I feel like from a trying to take as much as of a outsider's perspective on it as possible in terms of like mixing. When you hear like that word like mixing, it's like y'all probably don't care as much about like the mix itself, but seeing the like that before and after concept of like, okay, well, like this is what it is with this and this is what it is without this. So playing the track by itself, but like just little shit like the reverb, for instance, like this will be no reverb on it. I'm gonna mute the reverb on there just so y'all could see like what type of effect that has on the track itself.
And I know you'll sleep, but you're on my mind, and I'm wide awake.
So that's no reverb.
And I wanna stop by.
Super
so
dry.
Can you get up, get out of the bed? Cause I wanna see you. And I've been wondering, can I come over? Come over. Can I come over? Come over. Can I come over? Come over. Come over. Can I come over? Come over. Can I come over? Come over. Can I come over? Come over.
Drop the beat
Come
back
over. Passion, instant, sweat me, feel me, Cupid's shot me, my heart beats racing. Tell me, drive me.
just so y'all could kind of get a feel for it. And like I said before, like this was more like conceptual. You know what I mean? It was more like just having that idea, because obviously the instrumentation and the production on it and whatnot is not like, it's not like going off Aaliyah's beat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like some whole new shit. So I'm trying to like put myself back in that mind frame of where I was at when I recorded it. I just know like when I originally like heard the beat, that just came to mind. It was just like, I just touched down. Yeah. Gonna have to. So yeah. I mean, the mix on this is not as like extensive, but I for sure I want to go through and like just play a couple little parts of it, and then what I want to get into, I got another version of this track that I'm actually excited about. We got to figure out like the rollout for it and whatnot. But my boy Carlos, Los.Wav on YouTube, if y'all are watching, whenever y'all dip from here, make sure to subscribe to his channel as well. That he just completely like revamped the track. And I think for anybody who like is a fan of me or a listener of me and enjoys this song, like I think it'll be like some whole new shit, because it's a whole different wave. So yeah, hold on, let me I want to play this in part. I'm gonna solo this out, play around with it for a second, and then we'll get into that mix.
It's yours entirely.
Oh, there's the beat on there. Sorry.
It's yours entirely. Your love is one in a million. It goes on and on and on. You give me a really good feeling. All day long. Your love is one in a million.
Real quick too, while this is fading out, shout out Peter, man. Shout out Peter for shooting that video. Blurred Culture is where the original video went up, and he just shot it off the strength, man. And I think that's like kind of going back a little bit to what we were talking about like the resources is just playing, reaching out to people, man. Like, that was such love on his part, to do something like that and to shoot the video. So long story short, not to get super in detail, but the original game plan for it was like, okay, I don't have a YouTube channel. I don't have any type of like engagement on YouTube. I'm not really focused on that. I think that was through Graph. He was a friend of Graph's. Excuse me. And he just said, he had gone through the songs, and he was like, yeah, we should shoot something for Aaliyah's Interlude. We end up shooting it, and the agreement was, he was going to throw it up on his channel and keep it up on there, but he would do it for free, no strings attached. So he kept it up on there. It was on his channel for a year? Yeah. Like quite a while. And then as I got things going, on my own YouTube channel, I just hit him and I was like, hey man, like you already know, much love to you for shooting the video. Do you mind if I, throw it up on my channel? I know we had talked about it before, but, and he was cool about it. And I think like, not to dig too back into, what we talked about before, but just in terms of like those relationships and those resources is like just finding people that you rock with, man. Cause like he didn't have to do that, and he didn't have to tell me that it was cool to upload the video. He could have just been like, nah man, like fuck you, you know what I mean? Like I said the video was going on my channel, like that's it. And it's like that wasn't the case. Like I gave him his time. He had his time to have the video exclusively on his channel, and it's still up on his channel right now, but it's on my channel as well. So I thought of that as the little outro to the track was coming in. But yeah. Major shout out to him, Peter at Blur Culture. Y'all could check them out on YouTube as well. What you got? You got any input in terms of the track? Anything that you feel like I'm forgetting?
I think
my boy Don, my boy George, my boy George Clooney might be getting to me a little bit. I don't want to harp too much.
No, you're good. The first thing that I noticed a lot was just it's a very Aaliyah base. I think a lot of people kind of forget that.
Yep.
The song is not just like, all right, let's that you chose a random R&B artist
Mm-hmm.
and then you just made a song off of it. When I first heard it, the first thing you hear is like the guitar melodies from Aaliyah song, all the little interludes, outerludes, all these little lyrics that you have, bridges, are all Aaliyah centric. They're Aaliyah based. If people don't know, there's a lot of it's kind of like Easter eggs throughout the whole song.
Yep.
There's a lot of Aaliyah lyrics and stuff that really tie together. So that was it's cool. That song really kicked off and people kind of appreciated the Aaliyah inspiration behind
For sure.
it.
For sure. And I mean,
and Aaliyah was born on my birthday too.
Ooh.
Shout out to the Capricorns out there.
very rare.
That was a pretty cool touch to it too.
So
January
I'm gonna
16th.
get and I showed something like this last week on the stream. In terms of how we were coming up with the artwork and the design for it. So I don't have the actual physical one for that cover. Graf has it. I'm gonna get it from him when I see him. I think I'm gonna link with him tomorrow. So I'll bring it and just show it next week on the stream. But I do have this. If y'all could see, hold on, let me pull this up just to make sure everything is in focus. So if y'all anybody who follows me on IG, if you see if you go back through my post and you look at the post for the video, remember when the video came out?
Yep.
We wanted to come up with a dope promo for the song at the time, and this is what we used. We literally used this. I think we took a physical picture of this right here, which is the Aaliyah Romeo Must Die. I think I have a hold this for me real quick if you don't mind. I got a okay, so here's the back. This is the back to the original. Which one is this? Back and Forth? Yeah, I think so. The original cover, and then I have two somewhere in this little mix of vinyls. Let me see if I can find it real quick for y'all. I think this is it. Yep. Unopened. I don't think I'm ever about to open this.
Damn, dead stock.
Yeah, dead stock right here. So this is the Aaliyah
foundation.
Yeah, straight up. Because if you look at the cover for Aaliyah's Interlude, it includes this right. Oh, this side, this right here within the cover. We just tried to
shout out to Graf, man.
Shout out to Graf, man, for real. And
Graf was on he was hitting home runs.
He's still hitting home runs.
But when he brought these album arts to life, man, he really
and that's why I say too, it was just perfect storm. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Handmade too, like the California Girls. All that stuff was handmade. Graf did those covers literally handmade. So that Aaliyah cover that you see on Spotify, all these, it's a physical.
There's a physical version of that cover.
Collage, ripped and stuff. So,
yes, and quick little side note, because we talked, me and Graf, when we talked the other day, we talked about that, but just separating the graphic designers from the artists. You know what I mean? Graf is a real life artist. Yeah. You know what I mean?
He's got the talent, the tools, but he has the vision.
For sure.
The game plan is the biggest thing.
For sure. So, I think the way that just that track came together, the way that the artwork came together and the visuals came together, it was perfect. It was perfect storm. And just to reiterate, all of these, I'm trying to think about it right now, Aaliyah's Interlude, Rain in June, Yeah. I got that on the tuck right here. I'm not about to pull it out on the stream. I'll pull it out when we break that track down. But you know, Aaliyah's Interlude. Have you Rain in June? Have you seen her? California Girls, like all of these tracks in terms of like what went into the back end and like the artwork and the visuals of it and the marketing of it and the promotion of it, like it's just hands on. So I don't want to keep going back to that. You know, I know we kind of covered it a little bit in the Q&A, but like that's a huge thing right there, man. It's just like you just get more in depth with what you're doing, you know what I mean, and give it a little bit more character to what you got going on, and you'll see the results. It's like we've seen the results in terms of especially Aaliyah's Interlude. Like Aaliyah's Interlude, you know, people love it. It's done great. You know, all the tracks, but I'm super, like, the more and more that I think about it and like pulling up this track right now, I'm appreciative that like those pieces came together at the right time.
This was like this allowed us to like sharpen our tools
for sure.
You know, to trying to get better at things. You know, comes full circle. You know, it comes with like that Los remix and stuff, and it really.
Yeah, we gotta. Should we run that? Should we run the okay, all right, so look, okay, so we played this is the final mix. I'm not gonna get into like the early mix of Aaliyah's Interlude because it's not as.
Those are the bones, though.
Those are the bones, exactly. The bones. Like we broke, like there's nothing, everything that's on this mix right here was, you know, originally there. Like all the vocal files, all the production files, all of that.
And all to tie together to the questions about the guys, like, can you send can I send my song to mix and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many versions do you do on your songs, on your mixes?
Bro, let me hold on.
You do like what, 10 to 20 versions?
Oh, I mean, bro, hold on, I'll pull this up right now. So just so y'all could, and I talked about this a little bit, but I still don't feel like people like really understand, and I'm not fucking tooting my own horn here, but like just in terms of like the depth of these tracks, like hold on, let me pull this up. I think I originally called it Come Over. So look at this.
Yeah.
So this is 1.1 all the way to 2.7, and then we got a bunch of other like, you know, mixes of it. This is the Los mix, but 1.1 to 2.7. So it's like you're gonna constantly go through like adjustments for the track. You gotta find what works, what sounds good, what doesn't sound good. The reason I do this, and I know this is probably more meant for like anybody who's a musician and like
save as.
Yeah, exactly. Facts. Do save as. Don't save over your project, please, people. Like whatever even if you're doing like graphic design stuff,
like, anything. If you're writing a paper.
Yeah, man. If you're writing a paper, if whatever you're doing, like save as, save new versions, because you never know. Like, you know, for me, obviously, I could go back to the very first initial version of it, but you know, for me, I know that there could be one little thing, even if you're like, let's say I was
version
at like
7 to like version 1.
Facts. So if I was on like version 2.1 right here, and I was like, man, like let me listen back to 1.1, and I heard something I did a little bit different. If I had just done save and saved over that, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not gonna be able to go back and refer to that version of the mix. So that's why I do it like that. Like you know, I would personally campaign for people to go about it that way. You don't have to, but I think that's the right way to go about it, is to save these things as separate mixes, so that if you ever need to go back and pull ideas or like certain techniques or like inspiration from your mixes later on, you're good to go. Little suggestion. So so y'all have heard the final mix of Aaliyah's Interlude. I had a couple like little audio issues, so I don't want to pull up the session and to mess it up, because I feel like we've been on a solid roll right now. Audio has been amazing. Shout out to Streamlabs, knock on wood. So what I want to do is I want to play the version of Aaliyah's Interlude that my boy Los did, and just let y'all hear it. We'll get into like the details, but it's crazy. It doesn't sound anything like like it's nuts. It's nuts.
We'll post this clip on YouTube, and you know what? We're gonna post this clip on Instagram too. I think you should roll this clip to kind of show people this is the world premiere. This is the TRL world premiere right here.
Agreed.
Right?
Agreed. Shout out. What's my boy's name? Carson Daly.
Carson Daly.
Shout out my boy Carson Daly, and also
this is our BET.
yeah,
106 in Park.
Shout out
AJ and Free here. You know.
Yep. Shout out Carson Daly. Shout out AJ and Free. Shout out my boy George Clooney. Shout out, what's the old boy's name from Breaking Bad? Bryan Cranston. I know Jesse Pinkman is. Yeah. What's his name? Aaron something.
Aaron Paul.
Aaron Paul. Shout out Aaron Paul. Hey, just shout out my good people of the world right now. Just maxing, relaxing, enjoying life. That's all we're doing. I'm having a great time tonight. Like I'm having such a good time. I'm so happy. Like y'all tuned in, and are asking questions and in the chat and just tapped in, man. Like I really, 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 really sincerely appreciate it. I'm having fun. I'm having fun. I don't feel like it's a chore to hop on here and chop it up with y'all. So I appreciate it. All right, where is this? Let's pull this up. Let's get this mix cracking. Actually, okay, we're gonna play this.
Oh, what about the cover? You want post the cover or not?
Wait, I don't know if I have the cover.
Should we or not? Should we just roll the track?
Yeah, we're just gonna roll the track. Okay, yeah, so we'll roll the track for you guys. Maybe next stream, next Friday, we'll show that. Yeah, I know. Slow down. We'll throw the cover in there because it's a cover done for it. Like it was a whole release plan, but like I said, back to all the COVID shit and whatnot, it just got a little bit tricky. So let's play the mix. I'm not gonna pull up the mix in Pro Tools. I'm just gonna play the finished WAV file of this, and we'll go from there. So real quick, what I'll say, I've seen a couple people in the chat making comments and leaving their input and whatnot. Much love to y'all, for real, because realistically when we're on live like this, I don't really have any way to interact with you guys. Like it's more just like I'm sitting here, I'm talking to a camera, I'm with Vic, but otherwise it doesn't really, not that it doesn't seem real, but it doesn't seem like what's going on is actually going on until y'all are really tapping in on the chat or leaving comments and whatnot. Reaching out after. Exactly, reaching out after. So I appreciate it all. The one thing that I'll say right before we get into this, I won't delay it for too much longer, is the chat. I mentioned it in the beginning of the stream, but if y'all are on and you're watching, tap into the chat, because I wish I could, the camera is mounted right now. I wish I could just grab the camera and show y'all, what we're looking at right now. But just so y'all know, I can see the chat right now. I could jump in there and, just so y'all know what the deal is. Go ahead and leave y'all a comment real quick. Love y'all. Custom emojis. What do we got? See if I can leave y'all a heart real quick. These are iPhone emojis. Let's see. There we go. Love y'all. But yeah, so if I don't know how y'all found your way here. If it was off Instagram, you click the link. I'm sure you got the YouTube app. Jump on there. It's a lot smoother, and jump on the chat, so I could interact with y'all. Crystal, much love. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I love to see, man. It's I can't even describe the feeling, man. It's dope. It's super dope to be able to see that and just to interact with y'all. It's this isn't a YouTube video. Just in terms of, we're not sitting here recording a YouTube video. I'm here, Vic is here to interact. I'm here to chop it up with y'all. I want to know what y'all's thoughts are. If you got any questions, if you got any input, I try to respond to everything. So it really means, a lot to be able to see that. So I know I've been keeping y'all waiting. Y'all are is there even another version of this track out there? So
this is the version.
Yeah, this is it. It's just me talking. Version. Yeah, it's just spoken word. Aaliyah's remix. Yeah, the podcast version of Aaliyah's Interlude. That's all it is. So I appreciate y'all. That's the end of our time now. No, I'm just fucking with y'all. All right, so let's get it. I'm gonna run this real quick. Does this gotta pull up in Apple Music or something?
It is.
There we go. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's the
I
one.
just touched down, quarter after 2, and I know it's late, but I'm calling you, tryna figure if I can come see you. And I know you're asleep, but you're on my mind, and I'm wide awake, and I wanna stop by. So can you get up, get out of the bed, 'cause I wanna see you. And I've been wondering, can I come over? Over, can I come over? Come over, can I come over? Come over, come over. Can I come over? Over, can I come over? Come over, can I come over? Come over, come over. Action, instant, sweat me, feel me, Cupid's shot me, my heart beats racing, tell me, drive me, feel so exciting, thought of honey is yours entirely.
Drop is crazy. It's crazy.
It goes on and on and on. You give me a really good feeling. Oh, can I come on? Can I
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Out of the vault and
Wow.
release it.
Come on.
Let it
Come
loose.
on. Crystal, much love. CD Supreme, much love. This is a whole vibe. It most definitely is. Most definitely is. I love how that came out. And the one thing I'll say, like, in terms of the mix on that I thought was super dope is, like, I didn't record anything new.
Yeah.
Like, that was all, that's the original vocals from the original song. I just mixed it a lot differently after Los went in and
Ran with it.
yep,
Ran
and
with
I
the
just
ball.
literally just ran with it. So, man, yeah, that came out super
Yeah.
dope, man. Like, we gotta.
It's been a while since we heard that.
It
shit.
has.
It's
It has
funny.
been a while, man. I'm telling you, this
So-
COVID shit just fucked everything up. But
Might have to pull the trigger. On
oh,
that
for
shit.
sure,
Yeah.
for sure. I feel like the people deserve that. You know what I mean? To have that joint. But yeah, man. Yeah, I feel like I was in my zone right there.
I forgot about that. I forgot how much Los took that.
Man, yeah, he took that to a whole different level right there. Yeah. All right, man. All right. Yeah, that came out A1. So, I mean, there's a good amount of that's a good amount of stuff like in the vault.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just in terms of what's coming up next. I definitely want to or we definitely want to get something going for that specifically. If y'all were tuned in, what was that, the first week I did Reposado?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so first week, Reposado, so getting that cracking as well. But yeah, man, just kind of getting back into into the swing of things. Anything else you want to throw in terms of the Los.Wav mix?
No.
So not to cut you off, but that's Los.Wav. Like that's the same Los that I've been talking about the past 3 episodes. So I'm gonna leave his channel within the in the comments in the description, so y'all can peep him. My bad, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I mean just with the whole YouTube thing. Make sure you guys subscribe, like.
For sure.
Very
comment.
Very cliche. But
yep. Yeah. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe.
But it's true though. It's true.
It really is.
You don't realize it until you're in it. But yeah. Subscribe, and man, I'm telling you, the next ventures, that are being released musically, business wise, just in different creative.
It's
lanes.
just fucking exciting, man.
It's exciting. It's exciting.
Yeah.
We had some hiccups because of COVID.
Yeah, for sure.
Though, it's keep it locked, honestly.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, man. I mean, that was like the bulk. So I got a couple because I'm looking. I mean, I guess y'all could see it too. I'm acting like it's a secret, but I got a couple other ones. I just want to. There's
foreshadow.
Yeah, it's at least like 1 or 2. I just want to play real quick. Like these are like just bounces out of Pro Tools that I haven't released. That I just want to play. I just want to hear them. See what y'all think of them, so on and so forth. So this one's pretty old, but this one's like a different feel. The Electrify Me, you remember this one? Maybe not, but you'll remember it when you hear it. Okay. Love that one. What else we got? I'm gonna just play one more. I'm not gonna get too deep in the bag. We'll save this for a later time. Forbidden Fruit. I know you remember that one. Okay, let's run that one real quick. Here's a story of.
I was going for that. Like those 4 tops.
What's up? What I always forget his name. Isaac Hayes.
Yeah. Los was going that 70s soul.
Yeah.
Flowers that grow in this garden bear the sweetest fruit. Dead are the leaves that have fallen. Can I sing to you stories of temptation and urges that run deep in my veins, my darling? What have these moments become? There will be times
Wale.
Yeah. All right, man. I feel like in terms of like back end, like showing y'all the little sneak peeks. That's about it. All right. Before we let y'all go, I will say before we even like go any further, I'm so like appreciative that nothing went wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the third time really was a charm. Yeah. The third time was a charm. I appreciate everybody who's stuck in there or tapped in, midway through from the beginning, still here, or whatever the case may be. Much love to you guys, man, for real. Let me see. I know I'm looking at the notes here just to see what we got. Okay. I'll mention this in the very beginning, but on my YouTube channel, if y'all are subscribed, I just dropped some. So I had this. I dropped this on my IG not too long ago. The Beauty of Things video, but this one was super dope, man. Like we shot this. Me, Vic, and Los. We shot this in LA, all on iPhone.
Yeah.
All on iPhone. Like that right there, should let y'all know what time it is. But all on iPhone. Song is dope. It's not like official music video type shit, but just the concept of it.
Not to release.
Huh?
Too good
not to release, for sure. That's the perfect way of putting it. It was just too good not to release. So the video is live right now. Whenever y'all get a chance, check that out. It's called The Beauty of Things. It's on my YouTube channel. Peep that. The Wallflower videos.
Yep.
So
take a trip down memory lane.
Take a trip down memory lane, for real. I mean, and I know like as these live streams go on, I'll delve a little bit deeper, into this and talk about it. But Wallflower was like it wasn't like the first body of work I ever put together, but it was the most official at that time. And I feel like
very extensive,
super extensive. Like, I'm working on what we wanted to do was to go over some of the mixes. I'm trying to figure out a little issue I've been having with the plugins for the Pro Tools session. So once I figure that out, we'll start pulling some of those up in the live sessions. But those videos, I think there's like 3 out right now, 3 or 4 on YouTube. Yeah, 3 or 4. The rest of the song, I think there's like 11 tracks total. So over the next week, the rest of those tracks will be coming out on YouTube. If you're subscribed, check those out as well. They're just little like lyric video, audio visualizer type things. But that's a project that I'll forever, be proud of and have like a certain attachment to. Check those out. Like I mentioned in the very beginning, the 424 video, if y'all haven't checked that out, that'll give y'all a little like sneak preview of the shirts and all the Orange Division stuff that we got going on. Over the next couple weeks, I'll kind of keep y'all in the loop in terms of all that and what's going on. And yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Like I said before, anybody who, if you've been here since the beginning of the stream, if you just tapped in, if you're just catching the very end, much love, appreciate y'all 100%. I can't say it enough. I'm so grateful that our audio was smooth.
Yeah.
We had no issues with the audio. It makes me feel so good about going into next week.
Huh?
Yeah. Yes. Huh? Check. Yeah. Check. Yeah. So, yeah, man, that's about it. Vic, thank you for coming, my brother. I appreciate you, more than you know. And yeah, man, like I said, we'll be right back in the mix next week. I think that's the beauty of all of this, is that it's not a one-time thing. It's a thing that's just gonna constantly get better. But anybody who's like tapping into the chat and giving input or leaving questions for the Q&A, so on and so forth, like that's what makes this dope. That's what kind of lightens the load on our end. So Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. You got anything else you want to add?
Oh no, man, it was fun going.
It was
back,
fun, man. Tonight was fun.
Picking apart the song.
Yes.
Going back memory lane and seeing the strategies we went through and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, keep it locked. We got way more things coming, man. Very exciting things that we've put a lot of work into.
100%.
A lot of work into.
100%. So, love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Till next time, man. Till next time.
And that is it for us today. And we will leave you with a... I can't do it. We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. And thing sucks.